Hey everyone, it's FLAK. Most of us have been literally blown away by the Battlefield 2042 trailer, but once the dust settles, come the questions. One at the forefront of everyone's mind seems to be specialists and how they work in Battlefield 2042. Now, I hang out on social media a lot, so I've read tons of comments about the topic, and many people seem to believe DICE is getting rid of that tried and true class system that has been an integral part of the franchise since day one. And I'm here to tell you that's not really the case. So, prior to the reveal, EA and DICE gave some detailed answers in an off-camera briefing, and much of that centered around how specialists work and how they fit into that traditional Battlefield formula. So, first things to know, classes are back, and specialists belong to those classes. In Battlefield 2042, there are 10 specialists at launch, and we heard about 4 of them during the briefing. Each of them falls under a class, and they have a specialty and a trait. While specialists can equip any weapon, specialties are pieces of equipment unique to that specialist, and traits are unique abilities. Both of these things reflect their associated Battlefield classes. I was fortunate to be briefed on 4 of the classes in some detail. The first I'll talk about is Webster Mckay. This assault soldier is focused on verticality and movement. His specialty is the grapple gun. Shout out to Hardline Gang. This lets Mckay scale buildings for the high ground, giving him a great way to ambush enemies. His specialist trait Nimble allows him to move faster while aiming, so you can start to see how he's really suited to that traditional assault class. Next is Maria Falc. This specialist falls under the support class, which in Battlefield 2042 is all about backing up your teammates. Her specialty is the S21 Surette pistol. This piece of gear lets her both heal and revive teammates from a distance. Before you panic, again, I stress specialties are unique to particular specialists. Meanwhile, her trait is Combat Surgeon. This allows Falc to revive teammates to full health. Revives from other players will only restore a portion of your health in Battlefield 2042. For the engineer class, there's Boris Guskovsky. Boris is all about technology and defense. His specialty is the SG-36 Sentry system. This beefy sentry can target enemy vehicles and infantry. And like other specialties in Battlefield 2042, that sentry has a counter. It is of course susceptible to things like EMP blasts. Meanwhile, Boris's trait Sentry Operator increases the effectiveness of the sentry and allows it to spot enemies it's engaging. Last here is Wickus Casper Van Dale. This is your typical recon soldier, as you can kind of tell there from the ghillie suit. Casper's specialty is the Ovp Recon Drone. You can use this drone to manually spot enemy positions for yourself and for your team, similar to the way the MAV did in previous games. It can also do this autonomously if you're pushing an objective. The OVP also has a bit of an offensive role. It can fire EMP darts, which can disable enemy electronics and equipment like the aforementioned sentry gun. We did actually ask this next bit during the briefing, and that was, can you throw C4 on the drone for expert trolling? And the dev's response was yes, so pretty excited about that. However, Casper's trait is called Movement Sensor. This informs him if an enemy soldier is moving close to his vicinity. And again, that might seem alarming for players who loathe campers, but devs say that this trait, like all the other ones, it has a counter. It doesn't detect slow-moving players, so there is a bit of a balance there. Developers hinted they talk more about these specialists and their specialties and traits as we get closer to launch. Based from what I've seen from specialists, it's not a significant departure from previous Battlefield games. Classes are intact, but DICE is offering more choice in how you play the game. Personally, I think that's a good thing. I'd love the ability to play as Mckay with a shotgun and flank enemies on a rooftop with a grappling hook, or equip Boris with an LMG and lock down a choke point with a sentry. Similarly, I can see myself using Maria to support an objective push, reviving teammates from a distance while harassing the enemy with sniper fire. You've got a lot of choice here. It's also easy to forget that we basically had something similar to specialists in Battlefield 5 with combat roles, though those weren't particularly well implemented by DICE or well understood by players. Similar specializations also actually appeared in Battlefield 1 with the In the Name of the Tsar DLC. Like most of you, I do have concerns about game balance, most notably how powerful Casper's movement sensor trait is going to be. But I do expect changes and tweaks as the community gets their hands on the game and kind of tries to test its limits and break it, right? I'm also excited to see how specialists tie into the game's narrative. Battlefield 2042 doesn't have a traditional campaign. Much of the storyline is told through environmental storytelling, and specialists do factor into that. Battlefield 2042 takes place in a world with fallen nations and fighters with no home to go back to. I'm sure they all have stories, and honestly, I'm interested in those. We already have a bit of insight on the in-game world through our initial info on specialists. Mckay is from Canada, Maria is from Germany, Boris is from Russia, and Casper is from South Africa. I assume most of these countries have fallen in the Battlefield 42 storyline, save for Russia, and I'm interested to see where the other operators come from. In addition to the 10 specialists announced at launch, DICE will add another 4 over the first year of the game's live service. I'm curious what you think about all of these specialists that we've seen so far for Battlefield 2042. Do they seem OP? Which is your favorite? Tell me down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If not, a dislike. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell to get updates on all the latest videos. The next one I'm going to talk about the lore in Battlefield 2042. Did some digging on that. Should be a pretty good episode. Don't want to miss it. In the meantime, if you want to support the channel, keep your money, share this video. And as always, thanks for watching.